Right, welcome again. It's still the weekend show this morning, and today we want to look at a very important issue. On June 11, campaigns officially started in Anambra State, and people have been going out to campaign and ask for the votes of the Anambra when finally, on November 8th, Anambra goes out to vote for who becomes the governor of Anambra State in that election. However, even before that, on August 16th, there will also be some by-elections in Anambra State. One for the senatorial seat in Anambra South, where there will be, or where there has been a vacancy since the demise of Senator Dr. Patrick Ifanyoba. Also, in Onitsha North 1, where Honorable Justice Azoka died earlier in the year, there will also be filling of space in that constituency. But there are people who are critical in voting these elections that most times we don't consider. There are people living with disabilities. And recently, they collaborated with South Africa to look at how they can be better included in the voting process. So this morning I have the Public Relations Officer of Joint Association of People Living with Disabilities here with me in the studio. We want to understand, we want to discuss how we can enhance the process or the issue of voting for them here in elections especially. We want to look at the challenges and how we can address some of them. All right, good morning and welcome to the studio.
Good morning to you.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Let's even understand the issue first.
Okay.
Makogu, for the Obuna, somebody who is not a member of the disability community will not understand the challenges or what the issues are. So I want for you to create a picture of what it is like for a person living with disability voting in Nigerian elections at the time being.
Okay. Good morning, Anambra, and good morning to you. So it hasn't been easy for people with disability when it comes to election, especially the election day. We have challenges from the inaccessibility of the polling unit and the inaccessibility of the being able to vote for the blind, even for the deaf and for persons with physical disability. But recently, INEC made what they call priority voting, and they included persons with disability. So what this means is for every polling unit, if you're a person with disability and you get there on time, you'll be given priority attention. If there is a need for queue, there is going to be a special queue for persons with disability, the elderly persons, and women that are pregnant. Now, this priority voting also states that if you are blind and you need to come with your aid, of course you have to come with your aid. Even though that INEC has made provision for what we call braille ballot paper, the person you come with can help you to vote, assuming there is no ballot paper. But the challenges we have is this. Sometimes when you get to the polling unit, it's either the ad hoc staffs are overwhelmed, they didn't come with those assistive devices like the braille ballot paper and the magnificent lens and so many things, even the form EC30 for the deaf, the one that that is meant to be pasted around the vicinity to educate the voters that are deaf on how to go about the voting, because we have this shortage of sign language interpreters. Most times you don't find them in the polling unit, so it is only these descriptions that can educate a voter that is deaf on how to go about the voting. We don't find that. We don't also find what we call the form EC40. This form EC40 is meant to, collect the data of persons with disability in a particular polling unit. So these are the issues ranging from accessibility and all that.
Because, like you said, the challenge even comes from the registration process. And thank God, recently we are doing the continual voter registration. It started on Tuesday. So what are the ways that these things can be addressed? Because, like you said, I've covered elections for years, and I cannot remember. I cannot remember truly when I saw a Braille ballot paper. Even when INEC continued to promise that these are the things that should be done. And when you look at it, you understand that by not providing it, you've automatically disenfranchised somebody who is fiscally challenged to vote.
Exactly.
And then these are the issues. How do we begin to address them? Because when you look at something like some of these provisions, starting from the continuous voter or even the voter registration process, how can they be addressed?
Okay, it starts with getting persons with disability involved with the planning. You know, if persons with disability are aware that, okay, the voters registration is starting up, we can, you know, create awareness for our people to like go there and do the registration. You can also set aside maybe a particular day that you attend to persons with disability. With organizations like JONAPI, this is what we do. We help sensitize our people the need to go and collect their PVCs, because most people are not voting because of, first of all, the INEC centers are not accessible. Most of them are not accessible. So these are the things that dissuade persons with disability from participating. But recently, we have all come out en masse to like say, okay, this is our right, and we just have to be part of what is happening.
Yeah.
So it starts with, you know, getting persons with disability involved, and also sensitizing the staff that are you know, into the process of the registrations.
Now, are they even involved to the extent you've seen? People with disabilities, are they involved in the process? Are we seeing INEC making provisions? Because little time now, if you can know, we always complain about funding, but if it is incorporated right from time, it won't be an issue. So do we even have people living with disabilities part of the decision making at INEC to ensure that not just giving them space or giving them priority voting when it comes to voting, but how can someone who is blind vote? You ask someone who is physically challenged, maybe in the legs or hands, how can that person vote? And especially now that we are using BVAS, some of these challenges can be an issue for somebody who might not be blind but has defections in the eye. Exactly. How can these issues be addressed?
Okay, it can be addressed through voter education. And I will say that INEC is really trying, because of late they are beginning to like involve us in the planning and also, you know, inform us about what they have set aside for us. So with enough voter education, you know, educating persons with disability of their rights, and also educating, you know, ad hoc staffs, because some of these INEC officials, most of them are aware of what this priority voting.
Yes,
but for the ad hoc staff, they don't know anything. So early, you know, voter education, early awareness will save us the time and even the cost, because most times INEC will provide all these things and the ad hoc staff will end up not using it.
Exactly, because that's where my challenge is. For you see the ad hoc staff, like you said, sensitization, but mostly training. You see where an ad hoc staff, I've had such experience. You see the way they even attend to people living with disabilities.
Exactly.
You see that the understanding is not even there.
It's not there.
It's not even there.
They don't know
the
how
consideration, because I won't call it sympathy, the consideration to understand that this person is differently abled for the person to be fast as other people. So, but in general, you know, you've talked about the issue of priority voting. However, when it comes to something like the arrangement of the place of voting first, you see where the accreditation is and where to vote is. And we know that we practice secret ballot system here in Nigeria, but the way they set it out, it will even be difficult for a person with disability to vote. Now, how can we also address some of these issues? Like you said, there are people living with disabilities who are already part of the decision making. But how are their voices given priority to, even at the decision making process, to ensure that some of these placements are considered? I understand that, in fact, most of the where polling units are today, they don't have ramps. They don't even have ramps. But when you have that consideration as an INEC staff, you come into a polling unit, it will give you a conscience to understand that, look, because I know that people living with disabilities are coming to vote, I shouldn't stay on top of the classrooms or those places with high pavement. I should come down. So how are you people even involved in the decision making to know that beyond the priority voting, there are other plannings that should come into the process?
Okay, that is why recently we have an interaction with the security agencies. I mean the civil defense, the police, because they have a lot of role to play on that election day. Because most times we find out that ad hoc staffs are overwhelmed because of time frame and all that. So these days we've interacted with, you know, members of the security agencies, and we've been able to tell them what they can do differently to help us. Because assuming a civil defense officer cited a person with disability, you can as well help that person to like get to a particular place that he will be able to help himself. So the security agencies in Anambra State, with the recent interaction we've had with them, we've been able to, you know, educate them first, because most times they are not aware of all these things. So we've been able to educate them and to also tell them that we actually need them on that day. You're even talking about the premises. What about the restriction of movement during election? It affects someone like me because I'm a person with physical disability. I will need to, you know, go with either a keke or something to take me there. So these restrictions most times affect us, because if there is no movement, you will not even be able to get to the polling units. So this and more we've been able to discuss with them, and they've assured us that come November 8th, that is going to be a different case. So let's hope that whatever we were able to trash out will come in play that day.
All right. Let's talk about the series of sessions your association had with F Africa. I think last week and this week, with security agencies and with journalists. What was the aim of that training, and what were you people targeting to achieve by bringing those people together under one roof?
Okay, the aim was to create awareness, because we needed to create awareness on what our needs are on election day, and even pre-election and also post-elections. Because most times when we ask for priority vote, it looks like we are asking to be, you know, for people to be partial, for people to take pity on us. So we are able to take them through the INEC provisions and also educate them about the various disability laws we have. And we were also able to have a one-on-one talk with them, explain to them why they need to actually help us. Take for instance, for person with albinism, if you allow a person with albinism stand in a queue for a very long time, you're actually exposing him or her to cancer. So we were able to like have a one-on-one discussion with them and tell them, see, it is not like we are trying to, you know, teach you guys what to do, but we are also saying that you can help us make things better. So we are able to, you know, normally we will not be able to talk to them, but South Africa bringing us together gave us like the opportunity to interact and share ideas as well. And we were able to also teach them some disability ethics that they might not have been aware.
Please highlight some of them for us, because at times, I love something you highlighted.
Yeah.
Some people, when they handle issues around people living with disability, they come from the area of pity. Not as right, or because this person deserves it. So I want you to highlight some of those ethics so that people who are hearing it for the first time will begin to understand that things has changed.
Yeah, it has. Okay, we started with telling them that some disabilities are not visible. Like, for instance, you can see me on my wheelchair, automatically you know I'm a person with disability. But for someone that is deaf, you don't get to see that person until maybe when he signs. So we were able to teach them to be patient with us and to also be willing to help out. We also taught them on how best to approach a person with disability. Like, you can see a person on a wheelchair and you rush to help that person. You don't really know where you can help out. The best thing to do is to ask, do you need a help? And if I actually need a help, I'll let you know. Then we also told them on the need to also, you know, mind some of the vocabularies they use. Because,
Exactly.
for instance, I shared an experience I had while I was trying to like observe during the last election. One of the security men walked up to me and was like, "What are you doing here? You know you are disabled and you are here." And I'm like, yes, I've casted my vote, but I'm also here to observe, and I have the right to observe. He couldn't get it. He was feeling like he's trying to help me to, like, you know, vote and leave. And I'm also trying to tell him I'm also here to look out for other persons with disability, because at that polling unit, I was able to, like, you know, whenever I cite a person with disabilities, I will call the attention of the ad hoc staff. So we're able to tell them that we are human beings, that aside voting, you know, we can vote and also be voted for. And we can even, you know, do some works like the ad hoc staff as well. So they were able to, like, have an inner clue of what it takes to be a person with disability. We also taught them about the various provision assistive devices that INEC has made, and the need to help remind ad hoc staff or INEC officials of the need to bring them out, like the forms that we are talking about, the magnifying lenses for the albinism cluster, and even the braille ballot paper as well. So these are the things.
Now, there is something in your experience, I want us to look at it also, the issue of security.
Yeah.
During voting. We are praying and that there won't be issues of security, but how do we also address that, both at the polling unit and, like you said, the restriction of movement? Usually, in fact, it's a tradition in Nigeria to restrict movement entirely. Yes, 24 hours. Starting from previous day before the election.
Exactly.
And now, but the truth is, practically, the Nigerian society still, we saw the violence that happened during the 2023 election. And even at the polling units, that things might get rough. How is the people living with disabilities and your partnership with other non-governmental organizations handling some of these kinds of issues to ensure that not just to guarantee their voting, but there is also a guarantee of safety, security for you people, for people living with disabilities during elections? Okay,
for us, we always say your safety first. Whether you're trying to vote or you're trying to observe, your safety first. Observe the environment. If there is a reason for you to shift from that place, shift. That is even part of the things we discuss with security agencies. We're able to tell them that in case of an emergency, we should be the first to look out for. Assuming there is a crisis here, we should be the first to look out for. We are not praying for any.
Yes, exactly.
But then, your safety first. We always tell our members, whether you're trying to cast vote or you're trying to observe, if you notice anything, try to seek for help immediately. So that is just it, being aware of your environment.
Okay. Finally, let's talk about the general perception for the society.
Yeah.
Your association have been able to liaise with journalists. I know that, like we are doing it here, other media organizations will also begin to look at content around some of these kind of issues. And also, thank God, you also had this arrangement with security agencies. But I want us to talk about, in general, the society themselves. I might be informed as a journalist when it comes to people living with disabilities. People who have gone through these trainings might try as much as possible to educate. But you know that social perception usually change over a long time. So how do we ensure, beyond media emphasis and content creations, how do we ensure that people begin to see these things in different light? Let me share an experience. A few days ago, I was in a public bus, and a person with disability stopped the bus and asked for a lift. He's not begging, he wants to pay. But immediately the driver observed, what he said was, "My boss said, you go." Even when some of us were trying to call his attention, his intention was, "I'm not ready for this." So how can we change that mindset beyond the elections, going forward to the general? Because if we deal with this kind of situations, or what's the problem when an election comes? How can we change some of this mindset?
Okay, we can't stop talking about creating awareness, telling people they need to change. Okay, assuming you were there, if you find yourself in such position, that's why we advise ourselves to always speak out.
Yeah.
Be able to tell people. We are being asked to, calm down, because some
Exactly.
persons with disability, we tend to be very, high, maybe angry when people
Yes.
react in a certain way to us. So we are being asked to be patient, be able to, say one or two things. If there is things that happen that you don't like, be able to speak out, not just for yourself, but for the next person that will come. It might not be favorable to me, but when I speak out on some certain things concerning the rights of persons with disability, I'm setting a clear space for other people that will come before me. So people will always be people, no matter, regardless of your disability. First of all, we try not to take it personal, but we also try to tell people this is how you should be able to do it, or this is how you should be able to. So we can't stop talking about awareness, because it's only when you speak out that people will know. We've come to realize that most people do not act that way because they know, but out of ignorance. So for that known fact, we've decided to not put a stop to creating awareness on how best people should, see persons with disability.
Okay, let's talk about campaigns.
Okay.
Because people with disabilities are also going to be on campaign grounds.
Of course.
But most importantly, the messaging of these political parties. So far, I'm not sure that in any of the 18 political parties that have fielded candidates, there is any person with disability on the platform, even for the running mates. However, how would you assess, have you even heard any promise from any of these political parties on what they have in mind for people living with disabilities?
Of a truth, our issues are always an afterthought. It is maybe when you get to meet him and they start making spaces. Okay, we'll be able to do this for you.
Some of them haven't even thought about
it. So that is it. We'll always advise our members, you are free to support whoever you want to, but just make sure that you are ringing in the ears of that person the need to involve persons with disability. You understand? Because we are even encouraging our members to, start registering, going into political parties, and trying your best. I think the previous election there were one or two people that contested, but they never saw the light of the day, because people will always say, what will you be able to achieve because you're a person with disability? But then we keep pushing, and for candidates that are coming out, we are just here to remind them that we have numbers. So persons with disability that are voters in Anambra State are up to 10,000. So politics is a game of numbers.
Exactly.
If you involve us, if you do set aside some things that will be beneficial to us, we are not asking. This is not the era that we are asking for arms, for money, and all that. We are trying to say, make the society accessible for us. If you're able to involve us, then be sure that we also give you your vote as well.
Thank you very much. I forgot to tell our viewers that you're also a journalist, and that's why. Thank you very much for joining us. The conversation looks short, but we've spent 30 minutes already. Thank you very much for joining us on the Weekend Show this morning. I've been speaking to Chidinma Ajemba, the Public Relations Officer of the Joint Association of People Living with Disabilities in Anambra State. She's been talking to us on how we can ensure a better and inclusive society, especially electoral process for people living with disabilities. There are 2 elections outstanding in Anambra. First on August 16 and then November 8, when the Anambra will choose who becomes their governor for the next 4 years. But the most important question that we want to ask is, are we making the society accessible for people living with disabilities? Are we ensuring that their concerns and things they need are not afterthoughts? And the third one, are we involving them in decision-making process? Because no matter how you think you know someone, you can never make a policy that affects them if you're not part of them. And that is what we continue to emphasize here on the program. Thank you very much for joining us.
You're most welcome. Thank you so much.
All right. Join us now for our breakfast news at 8.